Very excited about today's Out of Office. We're about to go meet Travis Austin to talk about the absolute fashion empire that he's built. It focuses on making people feel confident, so we're gonna get a day in the life with Travis. Just moved into this house too. There he is. Of course, the outfit is on 100, as you would expect. Hey, Travis.
Welcome, how you doing?
Thank you so much.
Welcome to our home.
Love it. This is a new house, right? You guys just...
Yeah, a new house. We moved in just a couple months ago.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out.
This is where the magic happens.
Travis, before we get into your story, we need to explain why we're in your kitchen right now. So, just recently found out that you love to cook.
Yeah.
And you go to the farmer's market almost every morning.
Yeah.
When did this start and why is it meaningful to you?
It's always been there. Before I was a fashion designer and artist, I was a restaurant developer, which no one really knows, and bartended, from the day I turned 14. I did it kind of illegally at a mom and pop Italian restaurant back in Detroit. And I did that for 4 years. They started paying me when I turned 18, and I fell in love with the restaurant business, fell in love with food, and that's probably, like, besides being an athlete, my first form of artistry was building plates or cocktails.
It really is another form of being creative and being an artist.
Absolutely.
Now, going back to your history, you briefly mentioned it, but growing up in Detroit, being an athlete was your identity.
Yeah.
Dedicated your entire life to baseball, and then took a kind of sudden turn and got into the restaurant scene and the nightlife scene.
Yeah.
Why in the world did you do that?
I have no idea. Baseball is easy for me. My father played college baseball, my uncle played college baseball. My cousin, who was basically raised as my older brother, my hero, which is the reason I wore number 19. He passed away when I was young, but I wanted to be like him. But also, I'm the most competitive human on the face of the planet. So I had to be better than my dad, really. My only goal in life was to be better than him and play D1. So that's what I did. And from the age of 14 on, it was 350 days a year in the gym or on the dirt and becoming better and, serving that part of me. I made a Team USA team when I was 14 years old. Started traveling to Puerto Rico and playing, a lot more and with a different caliber of player than we had in Metro Detroit. That, really just became my life, and it was my life through school, and all the while I was bartending and falling in love with communication and relating to different types of people and seeing the world from that side of the bar. And although it wasn't on the dirt, I was able to converse and convey and communicate and romanticize, which are all things that I love to do within communication. And I was able to compete at something almost in my head the same way I did on the dirt. So I was the same athlete behind the bar that I was on the diamond. Leaving baseball, I was lucky I had that to kind of convert to. For every athlete, that's incredibly difficult to make that transition. You lose the only thing you knew to compete at, your whole life. And I was very lucky I had the restaurant industry and the nightlife and bartending, all of that. And then later in life, finding what we do now.
And what was really cool to me is how this has all come full circle. Your uncles were involved in the rock and roll scene in Detroit, so it was kind of in your bloodline.
Yeah.
But how did your family react and your friends when you're initially like, I don't want to play baseball anymore?
My uncles made up the band Heresy. They're, some of their best friends when they were growing up were the Misfits. And, at my birthday parties when I was a kid, my Aunt Missy had a mohawk and my 4 uncles had head-to-toe tattoos and billy goat beards and steel-toed boots. It was a juxtapose, all throughout my life. I had people who probably thought I was stupid, because I was the one that was pretty unstructured, but also the one that, my friends lived vicariously through. But my family, they weren't surprised at all. This is kind of how we grew up in a mixed bag. But I wouldn't change a thing. I'm thankful for every experience I've had, every city I've lived in, every country I've been a part of. It's been a beautiful way.
But talking about the nightlife scene, how crucial were those relationships that you formed in that period of time?
Everything. I mean, the only reason we are here right now, the only reason I became a fashion designer is because of the nightlife industry. My first clients were G-Eazy and Tiesto and Seven Lions and Millennium and Borges and Hot Nightclub Group. These people trusted me, and when Omnia opened in San Diego, which is a Hot property, they knew I was making clothes, and they had the hunch to bring me in to make custom pieces for these celebrities that were coming in. And just like that, like I will never forget it. I put this jacket on Tiesto on stage, his 40th birthday party, and it clicked. And I go back to being a competitor on the baseball field, competing the same way, and romanticizing my conversations and being a chameleon behind the bar. Everything I learned in school, communications and marketing, everything, and then building and shifting culture, which is everything we try to do now at Travis Austin. We don't sell product, we sell culture. So in a split second, on stage at Omnia, next to Tiesto, with something that I built for him, everything melted into one. And I knew that I could create custom product, couture custom product, and shift culture all at the same time while scaling a company, because I knew I was smart enough to do so.
People that didn't grow up with that foundation of learning to communicate and learning to make people trust you in a genuine way.
Yeah.
How do you instill that into your staff? Because I know you handpick these people that work with you.
Yeah,
They're
and it's the hardest thing to do, you know. And to me, the quickest way to help instill that into others is clothing. When you wake up every morning, you have just a few decisions that you can make surely for yourself with no influence or anybody telling you what to do, and putting the clothes on your back is one of those decisions. So jackets, you know, curated vintage, custom flannels, custom denim, and hats are a way for me to help instill that confidence in others. And then you add the custom aspect where we get to know you, things that, you know, are important to you, lucky numbers, family, lyrics, anything like that, and we put it into the jacket or hats, just like the ones on the back of your shirt. We can give people their stories, so now we're giving them an excuse, a really easy passage and route to share their stories when maybe they wouldn't have been comfortable doing that. But our product does that for these people. I pick my people on my teams the same way. You know, if we instill that into them and we communicate effectively what we are achieving for these people, I mean, it's easy at that point. These people want to be a part of that. They want to help instill that to others, and they'll work hard.
And what I really like about your company is what you basically just said. Everything is one of one, and I don't want to call it like a therapy session when someone goes in there.
It is. No, I'm a doctor at this point. You know, I've done over 4,000 consults in my career over the past 4 or 5 years, and I've had people cry.
Oh yeah.
I've had people come to me, you know, the week after their father died, and you know, they brought like, you know, flannels or neckties or jeans that we cut up and reuse into these pieces. But I've heard it all. It's something we all hold very near and dear to us. It's a privilege for us to be able to be that to those people, and then provide a product that's hopefully to pass down and be generational. The idea is that we put your stories in so that you can tell your children or your nieces and nephews about your stories, and then they can relive those, and then all of a sudden you have generational stories about your grandparents or so on and so forth being told after you're gone. And I'm very much that way with my family and my stories, where I come from. So we try to instill that into everyone else, and we do it with these pieces. So let's go to the studio and I'll show you some of the stuff that we're working on now.
Yes.
I feel it's important that we at least acknowledge them, I guess, while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Series 1 lithograph prints, Basquiat's. They're all signed in pencil. I touch them every single day. I had never been an artist. I had never drawn. I had never painted. Never done anything.
Taught yourself everything.
I thought I couldn't even draw like stick figures at that point in time. Like, it wasn't an option at all. I discovered Jean Michel, and Jean Michel. I mean, he would pick up, you know, cardboard, you know, off the streets of New York, and, you know, made something so abstractly beautiful, and he used texture and color story to influence culture and shift consumerism and political views, which is kind of like everything that drives me, is the thought of being able to shift those things, especially the way that people emote while they purchase. That's why I do what I do. We found these at a I don't even know what it was, consignment or estate or thrift or something in Texas. And I don't think they knew what they had, but I did. So I said, I'll take all 6.
I like the boots.
Thank you. They get repainted every day.
I was gonna ask him, like, do you just keep the paint on your clothing?
Yeah, there's paint on everything now. I don't really try to keep it off. Whether I'm creating, whether I'm going into an athlete's or an artist's home and creating 20 pieces for the full estate,
yeah,
or whether I'm doing a freestyle painting for the showroom, or making a leather jacket for a client, it all happens here.
Really?
Everything is painted right here. Everything is conceived in the mind here. It's really my happy place. It's the first time I've ever had an art studio in my home.
Yeah.
That I could just fully escape in. So I'll be in here hours a day, and I try to make it as comfortable as possible. It's a little bit cleaner today than it usually is.
Thank you.
But everything happens here, yeah.
And again, talking about your start, you did know how to draw. You taught yourself everything.
Yeah.
You even went to Joanne's classes.
Yeah. So yeah, you did your homework.
I did.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, I looked kind of like this, and there was like 10, 70-year-old ladies who I think they thought I was there to steal their sewing machines. But they were all my best friends by the time I left. Yeah. This piece, the jazz, the fact that it's going to Rock Nation is pretty special. Jay-Z's influence on culture and consumerism is a huge reason why I do what I do. And in addition to the transparencies, I love using like actual pieces in my pieces. So this is a game used bat by Jazz. That was, broken from a foul ball, I believe. So this will be completely painted and highlighted and pop. But then the bat will go in and come off the canvas.
It just hang off the side.
And just hang off for the Rock Nation offices.
We got to see the store now.
Let's go.
So for those who don't know, we're on 5th and Broadway right now.
5th and Broadway, yeah.
Fairly new location for you.
I think, a year and a half. I think 5th and Broadway's been here.
Yeah.
But we opened December 16th of this past year. So it's been really amazing. 7, 8 months now. Life-changing, really.
Is this surreal for you ever?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, pretty proud of it. Let's go in.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you. Oh wow. Hi y'all.
But this is, the whole. We built this to solve a couple problems, but really made our brand a lot more accessible. For everybody. Travis Austin, the brand, got so popular with hats after a couple of years that I couldn't do it. And the small team that I had, we couldn't do it. And everything was one by one by one. So it got to the point where, we would be 400, 500, 600 orders deep, and there was 2 people making hats. So a couple things happened, just like we got hit by the tornado, we got hit by the bomb. These orders kept, COVID, all these orders started kept piling up. And I just said, screw it, the next one I'm going full send, all in. I came from the mud, I'll go back, it was that mentality. So we built this, and then I built the hat bar, which is my bridge to bringing this to as many people as possible, but in a really organic way. So, same concept, same fabric, same technique, same trust that I've earned with everybody, but now you get to have the experience yourself. We call it Build-A-Bear for badasses. So you start with, looking at all of our hats and really seeing, kind of what color fits you, what shape fits you, everything like that. I think since we're doing this, we should just go ahead and make your hat.
Yeah, we might as well.
Might as well, right? Alexa's the one you want building your hats, not me anymore.
Really?
You come over here. And we developed that as sushi order sheet almost, and it allows us to get to know you as a person, where you're from, lucky numbers, favorite songs or quotes that you like, you live by, motivational sayings, literally anything. You get to pick your fabrics, and then let you pick whether it's bullet casings, studs, old vintage matchbooks, any lucky numbers, dates. 11. Okay. Is there a reason why?
My mom and dad both had that as a basketball number, and I did too.
So we can do something in the way that we burn it that symbolizes the 3 of you. So our goal is to put all these stories into your hat so that you know exactly what they mean, but we don't want anybody really understanding why the studs are configured the way they are, why the matches are pulled in some spots or burned in others, why you have a scripture in the back or in the bottom of the hat and at the top of the hat. All those should belong to you, and then if you want to share those stories, if you want that confidence to shine through that we talked about earlier, then that's now your ability to do so. That's your story to tell. So that's the goal with all of these. Welcome to the Travis Austin Outlaws Never Die cocktail bar. Cocktail bar every weekend. It's always free. It's always on my tab. And you can come in and drink some Herman Marshall whiskey. So
I'm almost as excited about this as I am about the hat coming later.
Yeah, most people are.
How do we keep up with your future projects and what's going on?
Instagram, really. I haven't really ventured off to all the other ones yet. But Travis Austin Customs. And if you're in Nashville, please come in here and hang out with the team, myself. We'll have a drink. That's it.
Awesome. Thank
Cheers.
you so much, Travis.
Thanks.
Hello. She's beautiful.
So we have the cross cut out, like we were talking about before, when the light shines through, that'll be like your guidance. We talked about 11 being your lucky number.
Yeah.
So, and it was incorporated through your mom and your dad too. So I decided to incorporate the three of you. Then we also have 11 for your dad and 11 for your mom. We also have the two hearts, so both of their hearts are there. And then your 11 is actually stitched in Roman numerals at the top. So that's all three of you incorporated through the 11. And then we have the Esther 414 right at the bottom underneath. So it's all yours. You have all the elements picked out. We have the feathers. The crosses are dangling right in front of it. You can actually just hold around that.
Guys, I look so Nashville. It's perfect. I feel so bougie all of a sudden. I didn't even mean to. I feel like I'm ready to hit the town. Want to give a massive shout out to Travis Austin for not only welcoming us into his home this morning, but taking us throughout his entire day and sharing his heart with us on how he built this entire company that he's built from the ground up. So thank you, Travis. Thank you, Travis Austin Customs, for this amazing hat. Follow them on Instagram and online, and we'll see you next time.